Welcome back. It's still the Better Half show, and on the show today we have been discussing about friendly exes. How should I manage my ex now that I'm married or now that I'm engaged to be married? Should I keep them at arm's length or should I still be friends with them? And I have an additional guest on the show. She is Ife Dare Johnson, an HR professional. Ife, you're welcome on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
People are usually not very comfortable when their spouse is still close to his or her ex. But the rumor is that you have allowed your spouse to stay close to his ex. And I think that shows that you have some gut, or maybe some things that we don't know that you need to enlighten us about. So, Ife, why did you take that decision?
I would say that it helped that I actually know this particular ex, and I feel she's harmless. So there's no reason not to allow my husband now to be friends with her. And I would say probably the way I met her as well, because I was returning from work one of these days, about 2 years ago, just before we got married. And I was in a bus, and I saw a lady staring at me. So I felt, okay, do I look familiar? And after I lightened at my own bus stop, she came down as well, and she introduced herself. And guess what? She said, my name is so-so-so. Are you Ife? I said, yes. I'm actually your fiance's ex. And had just a few seconds to respond, you know. And I realized she was just being friendly. We spoke. In fact, I called.
So you summoned courage to have a conversation with her.
Exactly.
But how did you feel about that, really? Somebody say, you know what, your guy used to be with me.
Well, the truth is, at that point, I wasn't sure how to react. So I just reacted friendly. And like, oh, hi, how are you? What do you do? And all that.
You didn't feel like you have come again?
No, not at all. In fact, I actually called my fiance then and said, guess who I ran into? Speak with her. And after then, we go home. Of course, getting home later, I had to, buzz him and said, why did you break up again? And he tell me the story all over again, so that I'm sure what exactly went.
Was it like you felt like, oh, why should we break up with this nice lady?
A part of me felt that way. Like she seemed really nice. What exactly happened? And after hearing the story, I feel they broke up amicably, mutually. So really, at that point, I felt it was cool. No harm.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
But truly, are there safeguards, things that you need to watch out for if you're going to be close to your ex? From your experience, are there things that you recommend that people should watch out for? Definitely.
In fact, I believe that one should not be ignorant, actually. I'm not going to turn my back and say, oh, do whatever you want, I know her. No, absolutely not. I'm still going to ensure that I'm still looking at the guards and all of that. In fact, there was this day, I think months into our wedding, I realized while going through my husband's phone that he had not changed the endearing name. He used to store her number. So I saw something like Timmy on...
What does that mean?
Like my own, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
My own?
Yes.
Well, he has another one.
You know who does that, right? And of course, what I just did was, well, I took the phone, I changed it, and I never spoke about it. And of course, I'm sure, if you noticed, I'm sure you also did what to mention it as well.
All right. Let me give these guys, because I think they're seriously thinking of what you're saying and wondering where you came from. So, Larry, this lady is strange, don't you think so?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, if you saw the girl and on beauty level she was 10, will you call your fiance and say, oh, I just saw your beautiful ex? I think you were comfortable because you thought you looked better than her. That's why I think you called her. You called him. That's my opinion.
I would say part of me felt that way. I felt,
yeah, exactly.
You know, you should be with me.
So if you actually felt like, well, this one should not be able to knock me off.
Like, seriously,
exactly.
No.
No, absolutely, I can relate. I mean, as I hear Ife talk, I remember there was this particular time that I had to do this foreign exchange transaction, and a client had given me a check, and it wasn't a regular commercial bank.
Yeah.
So I knew that I would have a lot of hassles if I didn't know someone, to help in a bank. And my wife then told me, this my ex actually works in this bank that you need someone, and he actually works in the foreign exchange department. I called her from the bank and said, I'm just facing. She said, he works in this particular branch. It's not too far from where you are. Perhaps you should go there and all that. I said, you know what? Maybe you should give him a call. I'll get there. And when I got there, when I saw the guy, I said, no, not a problem. I gave him the check.
So it's looking like ladies and guys alike, we can be a bit comfortable with your spouse having, this ex. If you think sizing up this ex,
you have the upper hand.
I have the upper hand, No wonder they knocked you off, for me. Don't go away. When I'm back, we're going to, throw more light on this before we bring the show to a close. Stay with me, and I'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Better Half Show, and we're having such a wonderful time on the show today with this discussion on managing your ex. Friendly exes, we called it. And it's been very interesting. We're going to take a question right now from some of my friends on social media. I think this came in on Twitter or so, and someone is asking, I'm not comfortable with the relationship my husband has with his ex, but he insists on keeping that friendship. What do I do? It's driving me nuts. Who should I ask? You will probably tell the lady.
She should go for counseling.
She'll go for counseling. I told Larry, would say, that's a bad guy. He should have shut the door. So, Ty, what do you say to this?
I mean, if your spouse doesn't want you to be friends with this person, you have to respect that opinion. There's probably a reason why your spouse, doesn't like this particular friend. So, thank you. So you have to honor your spouse. You have to. I mean, that's the person that you are now in a relationship with.
Yeah. So if you're talking to this lady's husband, you're telling this lady's husband, honor your spouse by cutting off from this relationship that makes your spouse uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. If you have allowed your spouse, but that's because you're comfortable. So how do you advise this lady?
I would say if she insists that she's totally uncomfortable with this ex, because I realize that life is also very short, and sometimes you feel you might not meet this person, you might actually have to work with this person. Anything can really happen. So if there's any iota of value that can still be added, I think you should explore it. But if you insist, then the spouse should totally respect the wishes of...
So what you're saying is that, young lady, still look out for value. Don't just shut everything down. Just still look out for something. There should be a reason. Perhaps she should ask her husband, why are you hanging tight? Is there something I don't know that you need to enlighten me about?
Exactly.
Rather than just saying shut down, shut down,
there
shut
should
down.
be a conversation. There should be a sit down. There should be a conversation. They should both understand where they are both coming from, and a single decision should then be made by both of them.
I agree. Totally.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all for being on the show today. It's been wonderful hanging out with you. Thank you for sharing your life with us on the Better Half Show today. Thank you for being open. And I'm really grateful that you're able to make it to the show today. Thank you very much. I'll be right back. Welcome back. It's been a very interesting discussion on the Better Half Show today. Friendly exes. How should I manage my ex now that I'm engaged to be married or in a marital relationship? We all have our past. And when we remember the past, sometimes you literally shudder thinking about the things that you've done in the past. Some people are part of your past, but they're not supposed to be part of your future. And that's why you need to be careful about who you carry into your future. One of the signals you should watch out for in deciding whether you should relate with your ex or not is, how does this make my spouse feel? Because if your spouse really feels very uncomfortable with the relationship, then I advise that you don't go ahead with that kind of relationship. I would also like for you to know this, that when you feel there's still a huge part of you invested in the life of the ex-spouse, such that you cannot stay within the same space for so long without remembering, you know, all the things you've shared together in the past, especially when you have been seriously, passionately involved. You need a serious break. You need to shut the door and perhaps turn the knob, as in lock it, so that you lock it emotionally. Sometimes you lock it physically, yeah, so that you don't even have physical contact. Sometimes maybe you work in the same industry and you still see, but you have locked it emotionally. So I'm not thinking about this person. My attention is now on my to-be spouse or my spouse. That's my advice for you. I want you to understand that your total attention should now be in your relationship, in the marriage that you are in right now. Don't leave anything in the old relationship. Let your mind be free. Be free to discuss the issues with your spouse so that they can be comfortable. If it's somebody that you cannot do without, maybe you share mutual friends, you still meet at occasions and events, then you need to fully carry your spouse along. Many marriages have suffered serious issues, serious conflict, you know, from dealing with exes. Yours should not be one of such. And on that note, I want to thank you for staying with me on the BetterHalf show today. Until I come your way again another time on this station, I want you to keep fanning the flame of romance and passion in your marriage. God bless you.
I've ever had. Seasons come and seasons go. We'll weather the seasons together.